This MJU has been a reliable point and shoot in my experience. I like to shoot a lot of candid moments with my friends, and I'm happy with the results this camera has given me. Before I obtained this camera, I was trying to shoot these candid moments with my OM1, trying to get the settings dialed and nailing focus before the moment passes. Don't get me wrong, I love my OM1, it's just a matter of having the right tool for the job. So I find lately I'm always reaching for my MJU. The 35mm focal length works well when I'm in semi-tight conditions, and for some reason I always find myself shooting in low light, so the flash is essential for me. The autofocus has been solid in my experience. I'd say about 95% of my shots are in focus. I find that giving it a moment after half pressing the shutter button and then pressing it all the way have given me great results. So there's a slight lag when pressing the shutter button all the way down, but nothing a little anticipation can't fix. Also, making sure there's nothing in the foreground for the autofocus to latch onto, and being wary of intense backlighting should help yield you better results in autofocus. One more thing about the autofocus. Olympus boasts that the MJU has a 100-step autofocus system, as opposed to say 3 or 4 steps in older point-and-shoot models. I couldn't find much information on this feature, but I imagine it greatly improves this camera's capacity to nail focus. And this feature did factor into my decision to choose this camera over older, cheaper models. I'm impressed with how sharp my photos come out with the lens on this camera, for a point and shoot that is. Although wide open at f3.5, there is noticeable softness in the corners. So I try to stick to higher ISO film stocks and utilize the flash to lessen the need for this lens to be wide open. If you're wondering why this camera over the MJU2, its successor, simply put, the price. And the f2.8 aperture isn't a necessity for what I use this camera for. The viewfinder is my only complaint about this camera. I don't even mind that the flash settings reset every time you close the camera, but the viewfinder is tiny and the frame lines are sometimes hard to see depending on what you're shooting. As for the durability, this camera does seem a bit delicate. I have a friend who has gone through several of these cameras, so it doesn't seem to be the most rugged. For most models, it seems the sliding door that covers the lens tends to get loose, so you'd have to hold the door open while shooting. But I'm very careful when handling all of my cameras, so hopefully my model holds up for a good while. Cameraman A and I went to go see the new Zendaya movie. I think Spider-Man was in it. Anyway, I was able to get these shots for the video. That's all I have for the Olympus MJU. That concludes this episode. Thank you for watching.